On the morning of April 18, 2026, a fish was delivered to a nest high above the Monongahela River in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What that fish carried with it: a hook and trailing monofilament fishing line, would trigger a federal emergency authorization, a nighttime surgical operation, and a question the entire eagle watching community is still waiting to have answered. What happened to USS-11? Line would trigger a federal emergency authorization, a nighttime surgical operation, and a question the entire eagle watching community is still waiting to have answered. What happened to USS-11? Welcome back to Scape News. I'll be your host today. For those joining this story for the first time, the USS Bald Eagle Nest is located on a sycamore tree on the grounds of the U.S. Steel Irvin plant in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, directly overlooking the Monongahela River. This season, that nest holds 3 eaglets and their parents, known to the PixCams community as Irv and Stella. The eaglets, still in their early downy stage, are at their most vulnerable. They cannot regulate their own temperature. They cannot fly. And, critically, they cannot reject what their parents feed them. That biological reality is the foundation of everything that happened on April 18th. Let's look at the footage of the incident itself. At approximately 7 a.m. on April 18th, 2026, adult eagle Irv returns to the nest carrying a fish. Standard foraging behavior. The eaglets respond immediately. Instinct-driven. Hunger-driven. What the cameras captured next has since been viewed thousands of times. Watch carefully. Look at what is trailing from that fish. That thin, clear filament, monofilament fishing line, is physically attached to the catch Irv is now tearing apart for the eaglets. And at the 40-second mark, the footage becomes impossible to watch passively. USS-11, one of the 3 eaglets, accepts a piece of fish, and with that piece of fish, ingests the line. Once swallowed, USS-11 attempted to eject it. The natural regurgitation reflex that raptors rely on to expel indigestible material, called casting, did not succeed. The line was already moving deeper into the digestive tract. Now ask yourself, how quickly do you act when a 2-week-old bald eagle, a federally protected species, has swallowed a fishing hook? This brings us to the pattern evidence that seasoned USS Nest observers have been tracking for multiple seasons now. This is not the first time this nest has experienced a fishing line incident. The USS Nest sits directly above the Monongahela, a river with active recreational fishing along its banks. The fish that Irv and Stella deliver to their eaglets come from these waters. And the fishing gear that is left behind, broken lines, cut-off hooks, discarded tackle that sinks to the riverbed and becomes part of the food chain, goes into those waters with it. To understand why this matters beyond one eaglet, we first have to look at what this represents. This is not an isolated accident. This is a documented pattern at a specific location. And that is a conservation problem that will outlast the season's brood if it is not addressed by the fishing community and by the agencies responsible for this stretch of the Monongahela. We will be covering the full pattern analysis in our follow-up report. Within hours of the ingestion footage being confirmed, the response from wildlife authorities was swift. Tamarack Wildlife Center, located in Cheat Lake, West Virginia, was contacted and authorized to evaluate the eaglet and intervene if necessary. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the federal agency that governs bald eagle protection under the Bald Eagle Protection Act of 1940, issued the required federal authorization for the rescue operation to proceed. And then the cameras went silent. PixCams made the deliberate decision to power down the Nest cameras for the duration of the intervention. That decision, however difficult for a community of eagle watchers who depend on those cameras for every update, was the right one. Online activity. Real-time comment traffic. And the presence of the stream itself would have added unnecessary stress to what was already a critical and time-sensitive procedure. What happened in that sycamore tree on the banks of the Monongahela was not captured on any live stream. But thanks to the rescue team, we have something the cameras never could have given us. Two professional tree climbers ascended that sycamore above the Monongahela River, above the industrial bank of the U.S. Steel Irvin plant, to a nest high enough to require full rope harness systems and professional climbing gear. You can see the river below them. You can see the scale of what this operation demanded. And when they reached the top, this is what they found. All 3 eaglets in the nest accounted for. This photograph was taken by the rescue team at the top of that tree on April 18, 2026. It shows something the cameras never captured. The moment of contact. The moment the intervention team reached the nest and confirmed what the eagle watching community needed to know, that the brood was intact. USS-11 was transported to Tamarack Wildlife Center for evaluation. Here, on the examination table, you can see the eaglet being monitored, a vet-quarter veterinary unit tracking vital signs while a veterinary technician works at the talon. Pulse, oxygenation, heart rate, standard critical care protocol for a raptor in acute distress. And here, at 9:54 p.m. on the night of April 18, 2026, we have what I consider the single most important piece of forensic evidence in this story. The X-ray. Taken approximately 14 hours after ingestion, this dorsoventral radiograph, a top-down skeletal view, documents the full body of USS-11. The patient record visible in the upper right corner identifies the species as USS Bald Eagle. Date of birth, April 10, 2026. Location, Cheat Lake. That is the confirmed address of Tamarack Wildlife Center. This is not a social media rumor. This is not an AI-generated claim. This is a time-stamped, documented veterinary record from the night of the emergency. The surgery to remove the foreign material from USS-11's digestive tract has been confirmed. And as of this morning's reporting, USS-11 is described as vigorous, eating, alert. So, where does this leave us? The surgery has been confirmed. The rescue has been documented by the team that performed it. And the 3 eaglets remaining in the USS Nest, with Irv and Stella standing watch on the Monongahela, are being monitored continuously by the PixCams team. But USS-11's full outcome is not yet known. When we know, you will know. That is our commitment to this story. If you are following the USS Nest and you want forensic, evidence-based reporting, not speculation, not AI-generated content, but documented analysis of what the cameras captured and what the rescue team photographed, make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss the next update. Subscribe, like, share, and ring the bell so you don't miss what breaks next. If you appreciate this kind of in-depth, forensic analysis of breaking events in the eagle watching community, consider becoming a newsroom supporter. The link is below. This story is still developing. USS-11's outcome is still unknown. And the pattern of fishing line incidents at this nest raises questions that go far beyond a single eaglet's survival. For Scape News, I'm signing off. Stay watchful, and as always, be safe.